so as Bianca said, my name is Ines Bautista Yao, and again, I want to welcome everybody here. Since it is about Kamustahan sessions, I just want to ask you really quickly in the chat. Thank you for those who already said good morning and said hello. Can you tell me, like, if you were to be a color today, like, how are you feeling? What color do you think would represent how you're feeling today? Do you think you can put it in the chat? What color would you be if you could choose any color? Yellow. Oh, yellow. So many yellow. Blue and white. Is that because it's Ateneo? Okay. The answers are there are three yellows, one blue and white, red, blue, another yellow, blue, blue. So many blues. Blue and yellow. Yellow. Gray, Sian. Is it because of the weather? Dark purple. I like that. Gray, pink, orange, pink, brown, blue, white, sky blue. I like that, Tina. Yellow, yellow, pale orange. So many different colors and so many different meanings behind these light blue, behind these colors. And so what I do during my Kamustahan sessions actually is I start off with something like that. Like I tell my students to think of something and then each one will talk about it. But I don't think we have enough time to do that. Okay, so let me just give a brief introduction of who I am. It's really, really quick. So I teach English. I teach freshman literature English, and I also teach an English elective called Story and Narrative in Science and Engineering. So, but I used to teach in Assumption College, and Mrs. Atienza was my first boss. And actually, this begins my story today. When I was first hired in Assumption, I begged her and I begged the other boss, please don't make me a class advisor. I really don't want to do that. I just want to teach the subject matter. I just want to engage with the students on that level. I don't want to go beyond that. But of course, little did I know that caring for the students and taking care of them and teaching go hand in hand. And I'm sure all of you know that. That's why you're here. But especially during the pandemic. And like, I was always trying. So I find it a little funny that I actually started these Kamustahan sessions because I opened up so much of myself to my students when before I really didn't want to do that. But how did I start? I began in the third quarter because a student emailed me. And this was in response to the contract that I asked them to sign. So I asked them to sign a contract about policies. And then she said, can you please add to our policies just one general kamustahan every week or just check up on us? And so I was like, hey, that's a good idea. Because usually I check up on them, I email them and I ask them, how are you doing and stuff like that. But not a sync session where we actually do kamustahan. And so I asked the Beatles first because I didn't want to impose and say, okay, let's do this. Only one student asked. So I asked the Beatles, can you ask your classmates if they want to do this? And I had two classes. So surprisingly, both said yes, they really wanted to do it. And since my sync classes were every other week, I said, okay, let's do the kamustahan the weeks in between. And so we did that. And let me just go to okay. So what did I do during my Kamustahan sessions? So I said already, it was every other week. And then during the fourth quarter, I made it every week. And I was only able to do this because I only had one class. So I felt very lucky that I was able to do that. I didn't require the students to do it, but I told them the Zoom room will be open so they can come and join. And, I'll be there. And in the beginning, I was a little stressed because I was like, what if I'm going to sit there and nobody's going to show up? How rejected am I going to feel? But I said, no, I will allow myself to be vulnerable this way. They will know there is this safe space. And they showed up. And it was during class time. So it wasn't, a time when they had to carve out of their own schedule. And then what was very, very important to me was we will focus on the positive. Because everywhere I went, all the Zoom sessions I attended with my friends, all the conversations were also negative. They were all about how difficult it was, how COVID was bringing them down, how the government sucks. And I'm sure they were hearing it also from all angles. So I said, no, let's focus on the positive here. So I'll show you how I did that. But before that, let me just tell you that the feedback I got was very good. So first of all, they already would email me and they'd already write to me telling me how much the sessions would help them. Like I even got a message from one student. She said, right after the session, she said, this really made my week. I was feeling so bad. I was spiraling, but having the session really made me feel so much better and I can continue with the rest of my requirements. And then, but the feedback that I have here on my slide is from the formal evaluations that I got a few weeks ago. So one said, it generally helped me get through the fourth quarter, especially when I was overwhelmed. So this meant a lot to me. And then others said it helped facilitate learning. I don't know how, because I didn't talk about lessons during the Kamustahan. It was really all about them. And then help me cope with the workload and the online. And I think it was really just how, it made them feel. It made them feel seen. It made them feel heard. It made them feel that they had a space. And so I think that's what they meant by that. So how did I do this? Okay, so one, start easy. Don't go to the heavy hitting questions just yet, because, you're just meeting them and it's all online pa. So, you don't want to go into something deep right away. So how did I start? I actually used these slides and I'll show them to you. So this one is cute. Check your battery. So similar to what we did kanina with the colors, this one naman, they can see where they are in the battery. And it's nice because, a lot of people are seeing a low bat and ganyan struggling. And then what's interesting is in the beginning, a lot of them actually, since it's the beginning pa lang, we're feeling good, we're feeling okay. But they were already telling me, but ma'am, I know in a few weeks, I'm going to be on the struggling level already. What's good about this slide is it tells you what you can do. Like, how can you make your day better? So after I ask them where they are on the battery, I ask them the next question. So how do you think you can turn this around? How do you think, or how can you maintain if you're feeling good? And then this one is really cute. So I learned how to use the annotate option on Zoom from my kids because they like to do it in their classes. So I get ideas from Instagram and I make them annotate. So I show a slide like this. I got this from the self-care kit on Instagram. Instagram is really where I get all these cute things for the Kamustahan. So I show this and then I ask them to annotate. So they draw how they're filling up their cup, or they type, or they write. And then at the end, it's so cute because you have all these scribbles on this screen. And then of course they follow up. Then they share, okay, this is how I'm filling up my cup. Most of them actually were saying, I'm filling it up by reading my requirements, by studying, by ganyan. So of course, then, you encourage them to say, yeah, but how are you going to do it? Like for your heart, for your soul, ganyan. And then this is also nice. What are you grateful for today? Because there are studies, I can't cite them now, but there are a lot of studies that say that when you at least practice gratitude, let's say even just for one thing every day, your immunity goes up, you feel better about yourself, and it really increases your happiness. So I think that's a very important question for them to practice. It's really a practice. And then what's your small joy in life? This is cute because they start answering things like, oh, when my Shopee delivery arrives, or when actually a lot of them, when my Lazada delivery arrives. Or they'll say, another small joy is actually being here in this class. So, things like that builds community also. What's your small win for today? This is really funny because some of them answered waking up to attend this sync session, or just waking up. So, you get all these different answers. Okay, so one thing that I did, and I really, really love this, we play a game. This game is called Gartic Phone. This game I did not discover. A student of mine actually discovered it. I asked them kasi, I said, what can we do during, this is when it was new pa. And then he said, let's play Gartic Phone. Now, guys, I highly recommend this. I play this with my family. I play this with my college barkada when we do Zoom. because all they want to talk about is COVID. And I don't want to talk about COVID. And I said, let's do something fun. And we played Gartic Phone. And it's not a competitive game. It's like pass the message. So like you start by writing something very short, like one day in Ateneo. And then the next group will draw it. And then the next group will look at the drawing and have to guess what it says. So they'll type out. And so at the end, you're going to see all the different drawings, all the different phrases. It's super, super funny. And it brings you together because it's the drawings are never good. So they're funny also. Okay, and then another thing is you make your own because you can't find everything online, or let's say you want specific questions. So these are the ones that I made using Canva. What is something you want to learn how to do? And it's nice as you really get to know them. And their answers were like, I want to learn about cryptocurrency. I want to learn how to bake something. So things that you normally wouldn't learn about your students, you learn by asking these questions. Of course, this is a super favorite. What is your favorite food? And hindi lang siya favorite, pero show and tell then. So they started bringing out their food. And then what was cute was one student said that his favorite was this potato chip that he couldn't get because he was in the province. And then the next Kamustahan session, he was like, guys, I have something to show you. And he brought out the potato chips that his mom brought or was able to order or something. Everyone was cheering. So it was just very heartening. And then I shared naman that I like star apple. And then they were asking me, why is it called star apple? Then I said, when you cut it, it looks like a star. Then I took a picture of it and then I showed it at the next Kamustahan. So it really builds connections. And of course, food is the best topic ever. This one I will never forget. What did you learn about yourself during the pandemic? Because what happened when I asked this question was it actually built a direct connection between two of my students. One student said that what she does, she learned that she needs time to panic. So I was like, what does that mean? Means she would like spend 10 minutes just panicking, writing down things such as worrying her, making her panic. And then she said, I feel weird doing this. Nobody does this. My friends make fun of me. And then another student said, I do the same thing. So I don't know, guys. There was like something in their eyes now. What? A kindred spirit. And I was just so happy that it happened and I saw it happen. And I hope they made friends because these are freshmen. So they come into Ateneo and they don't know anybody. I mean, maybe they do, but it's not the same as being in a classroom face-to-face, diba? So I think, and being in college, for me, was really making the connections with the people. And what is one thing you can teach others because you're good at it? This was so great because I was able to find out all these things about my students. Again, I wouldn't have learned otherwise. Excuse me. I was able to find out like one of them actually wrote stories, and then she asked me, because I write stories too, and she asked me, can I send you my stories? Can you give me feedback? And then I was like, of course. And then, I was encouraging her. And for me, encouraging young writers is really something that I'd love to do. What is one thing you like about yourself? This is hard to answer. It might be hard if I like go around the room and ask you guys to answer this question. But when you're a student and you're used to answering questions, you answer. What's good about this question is, again, it focuses on the positive and it makes them think about what's good about themselves and how they can actually share it with people who will appreciate it and get to know them based on that. And I think that's really important. I included this. This is one of the first ones, so it looks different. Share one good thing. There were so many nice answers, but what I want to share is I did this for my college barkada. I told them, okay, because we're always talking about negative things. Let's talk about something positive. Share one good thing that happened to you this week, not even today. Or not even that happened. One good thing in general. It was so hard for some of them to do. And I was like, okay, want to start my students young by looking at the good already, by looking at the positive things around them, because especially now, that's the way they're going to get through this. It's how they're going to get through the pandemic. Okay, so after all the light stuff, when you know each other well already, you can go deep. And I found this Instagram page. It's called The New Happy. And so I did this with them. This is towards the end. And it's actually a really good time to do it because everyone's so stressed because it's finals na, malapit na finals, so everyone's stressed. So it's such a good graphic. I need, and then it's blank. And then I show them all these different options. And then they choose. So I'm gonna read them, but it's too small for me to see. Sorry, my eyes are malabo na. But so these are, I need to be asked how I'm really doing. I need, why can't I see it? Okay, wait. I need to know that I am loved. I need someone to just listen. I need help with what I'm carrying. I need you to know I'm here to help. This one, actually, I tell them that this is me. I need to hear that I'm going to get through this. A lot of them chose that. I need to hear some kind words. I need to see, I need to know I'm not alone. Okay. So that, sorry, let's go back. That, what do you call this? These were, they're non-threatening if you look at the graphics. And it's easy for them to pull out one. And then after I ask them to choose, I ask them to explain. So what does it mean? Why did you choose this? Why is this what you need? And how can you fill that blank square in your life? And so, it leads to all these different reflections. So what did I learn? I'm ending already. Of course, one, I got to know them better. I mean, it goes without saying. But what was so good was I was able to use that, to use what I learned about them to improve my lessons. Or even not just the lesson itself, but to improve the delivery of the lessons. I was able to make sync sessions more personal. Dr. Cheche Suarez sat in my class and then she said, why, it's only been like a few weeks. Why does it seem like you're so close to your students now? Or you know them so well na? And I said, I think it's the kamustahan. Because I really feel that, I feel that I know them on a different level already, not just the superficial, seeing them in boxes and asking them questions about narrative theory. It motivated them to learn. Okay, this I didn't think was gonna happen, but at the end of last quarter, a student of mine said that when I actually made him kamusta after he disappeared, one of those students who just drop off. I asked him how he was, why he wasn't answering or present, basically. And he told me that he actually cried when he got that email because he felt that somebody was actually looking out for him. And then after that, he showed up to all my sessions, all the sync sessions, all the kamustahan sessions. And considering the quarter before that, he had unfinished submissions and unfinished work. So I guess, that making them feel that they're cared for motivates them also, yeah. And they get to know each other better. I keep telling my students, even during face-to-face, that I love college because Kate's so superficial, but I love college because I made my best friends in college and I want them to do the same. And that's why I feel so bad for the freshmen because they don't really make the connections that you normally make when you're in college. And I think, I hope that that's what these kamustahan sessions did. Because, it's not just forced group work. Now I have to work with you, so I have to get to know you through this. At least this way, it's light. It's not just all school related. And then it makes the group work later on easier. So that's everything. Thank you.
Thank you for that insightful sharing, Ma'am Ines. We're officially opening the floor for Q&A. I will allow participants to unmute themselves to ask a question, or if you'd like, you may send them via chat.
Thanks, guys. I'm looking through the chat now. Sit in. Yes, Joey, you can sit in. Thanks, Mrs. A. Yes, I think that's it. That's the word I'm looking for. It's life giving. That's really what they need now. Marky, yes, you guys can sit in my class. Yes, you know, I like that. They don't feel so vulnerable. And I think that's what's important. Thanks, guys. Bakit si Jovi lang? Dan, you can sit in also. Ano ba yan? What was the most touching experience you had with a student? Okay, I can answer that. Oh my gosh. Okay, can I just give like a general answer to that? I didn't think. Okay, going into to online teaching, I was actually very afraid because I thought everything was going to be asynchronous, and I was like, how am I going to use my love? How am I going to use my my smile and my personality to get them interested in my lessons? I mean, I can do it through my words, but and so I did that. I would do all these graphics and icons and whatever in my canvas, but and I did videos, but this was the first time that they actually I've gotten all these letters and all these emails from students who are telling me that they actually feel seen, they actually feel heard. I love the word safe space, because when the first time that a student told me that she felt that my class was a safe space, I cried, um, because that's really what I want it to be. So the blessing of online teaching for me are all these letters from the students, because I before I'd get some, but it's not the same now. It's really, they're really saying they're in a dark place, but this class gives them life, and that gives me life. What do I use? Don't you love it? It's called OBS. It's called Open Broadcaster software. Father Francis taught it to me. I don't know if I can. Yes, it's not toxic positivity. I think it's really important. How do I protect myself from the emotional toll? I meditate every day. um, Also, I think it's different. I really opened myself to it. I really prepared myself that way. I said I'm going to make an effort, and maybe knowing that I allowed myself to be vulnerable and told myself that it's okay. I think that's it's weird, but I think that's how I protected myself. I think Kamustahan replaces the importance of missing social venues. Yes, I agree. Um, any mental health concern? Actually, I didn't. Um, or they. What's interesting is if they do have mental health concerns, they would tell me already, and then a lot of them actually would tell me, maybe because of this, because I let them know that I was open to them. So they'd let me know. And then I'd ask them how they were doing, if they needed help. And then they'd say, no, ma'am, I'm managing and doing okay. If I felt, normally it's the ones who disappear, right? That you can't find them. Then I would ask the guidance office or ADAA, or I would ask the office of Cholo to help find them, because you can't also find them. You can't help them if you can't find them. You want to know if most students not all show their faces? Okay. The funny thing is about the faces. I have in my earlier classes, they would, and I'd beg them, please turn on your cameras. I'm all alone here. Then I'd see more. Not all, but more would open. But my last class, my most recent one, was at 9 a.m. And they wouldn't turn on their cameras talaga, kasi I'd have like two lang or three. And then one student finally told me, ma'am, don't feel bad. It's not you. It's just too early, and they're conscious and they feel pangit. And I was like, what? But um, but then when I heard that, I said, okay, I'll understand. What signals do you watch out for that the student needs special attention? The signals really when they're gone, when I don't see them. Um, and I do that really early on. Like I had I have that thing that contract, and then when I check on them, I ask them to sign the contract first if they agree. If they don't, then to say why not, etc. And this is like module 0. So if they don't sign it, I check on them already to find out, because I feel that's an early sign. And that's actually how that one student now of mine told me that, when I did that, he cried and then he joined everything. So, Bianca, tell me if I'm going overtime na, ha? A former student who shared a simple hi, hello. Yes. How did these change the attitudes of the introvert students? Yes, I think so. I think they were actually more, and they would tell me. I had one student tell me that he never recited in class ever in high school, but he was always reciting in my class. And he was my bidol pa. And so he said he didn't know what happened, how changed him, but it did. Okay, I have 5 minutes left. Why didn't you want to be class advisor? I was 21. That's why I didn't want to be class advisor. I didn't think I could do it. Are the tips for doing this and not stretch oneself too thin with 5 classes? You know what you can do? I think if you have 5 classes, you can do it and have the students take over. Have them, you can share like the slides and then have someone facilitate, or like they can be groups and then they can be the ones facilitating, and then you can be there listening. You don't have to be the one to fix everything. What is toxic positivity? I think toxic positivity is when you're just telling them, be happy, be positive, look on the bright side, but not listening to what is the problem. So it's just forcing them to be positive, but not addressing the reason why they're not positive. It's a term that that people use. For early morning class, maybe a teammate just got out of bed. Look, yeah, we can do that. But it was also me. I mean, I felt less stressed about them not turning on their camera, kasi you feel, diba, as a teacher, they don't turn on their camera, that they're not really there. But when they reassured me, no, ma'am, we're here. And then in the end, what happened was, like, they wanted to say thank you. So they held up signs and did these things, and they all turned on their cameras. And it was so funny because it was like the first time I saw some of them. For the, but it was just, it just made me feel affirmed what I was doing. I hope I was able to answer everybody's questions. For OBS, you can Google it. I can actually take it out now. And there. Oh, yeah, one more message. Yeah, OBS. That's that thing that can, so that your face is seen. Because, diba, you have your slide and then your face is so tiny. So it's hard also to like engage. Okay, so there's a minute because we all have to go to our next session. I want to thank all of you for being here. Thank you so much, guys. I hope you were able to learn or pick up something from this. It really, I feel, made a difference, not just in my students' lives, but in mine. I opened up to them more than I've ever opened up to any of my classes in all my years of teaching. And I really believe it's one of the gifts talaga of the pandemic. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Thank you, Bianca, Mrs. A.
Thank you for that wonderful sharing, Miss Ines. If you have any more thoughts on what we've talked about here, you can share them at gbcl.online/share and find other people who might have the same thoughts, like what Miss Ines has said, na kindred spirits of what we've tackled on today. And our next session will be starting at 2:50. So for those who would want to go to our next session here, you may stay. But for those who would like to go to their next rooms, please do so. All links should be in the email provided to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Bianca. Thanks, everyone.